which doesn't make any sense to me. You got a judgment.
Yeah, I sent the
382.
Yeah, I sent the judgment to them, and they still said the same thing.
I don't know what you want me to do. They're not under the jurisdiction of this court. That you got a judgment. The judgment says this is what you owe.
Okay, I would proceed with the payment of the judgment.
Pardon?
I would proceed with the payment of the judgment then.
But I don't know what anyone can do for that. I mean, quite frankly, and I don't say this to people, but you're trying to argue some timing technicality. All right.
Good morning, Your Honor. So I don't understand why I'm in court first, because they sent me a docket for November rent. I do not owe November rent. My rents are current. However, they told me on the 14th of January, I paid my rent, including the first late fee. I told them that I'm okay paying the first late fee. So I paid the first late fee because I'm a PhD candidate and my funds come internationally. So due to the holidays, I was able to get my fund late. So I paid the rent on the 14th of January, including the first late fee. So on the 15th, the payment was made on the 14th before the 15th. So on the 26th, I received a call from James of Spice Tree. He told me I have a 282 balance on my account. And I requested for the breakdown of this amount. And he told me that it's a $182 court fee and a $10 late fee. So I asked, like, okay, can you guys give me a one-time waiver for this late fee? The request was declined, right? So I requested for the official court receipt for the $182 because I paid on the 14th. So he told me, oh, we filed the case. I asked him, when did you file the case? He told me they filed the case on the 6th of January. And I said, okay. He sent me the ledger. I sent the ledger back to my funders and said, this is what happened. Because you guys disbursed for me late, I have a pending amount, so you guys need to send me $282. So they declined. They said the ledger wasn't allowed, that they need an official court docket. So I came to the court to ask for these details. They told me this case was filed on the 20th. I paid my rent on the 14th. I went back to my rental contract. There is no way on my rental contract that says that they are going to charge me $182 on the 14th of January, even though I paid my rent on the 14th of January. And ever since then, even though this case has been in court, I've been getting harassing messages, and I've also been getting tags on my door that I'm late on rent, even though I'm current on rent. All I requested for, without the additional late fee and all the multiple late fee that they have been adding onto it, is that give me a receipt of the court fee that you paid to the court on the 14th of January. Because as per the court, I went to the court clerk. This case was filed on the 20th of January.
Your Honor, the demand for possession was issued on January 6th, meaning that payment of the balance due was needed by close of business on the 13th. It was not made by defendants on statements. Our complaint is dated January 14th and would have been processed by our office and sent for filing with the court on that date. I understand the court may not have received it and processed it until the, I don't know what date the court marked it as received. I don't see a date stamp on here as far as the date it was received, but I see the date it was issued by the court was on the 22nd. And so these court costs were properly incurred. The payment was due by the 13th. It didn't happen. It was referred to us for filing, and my client did incur these costs to recover the monies that it was owed. So,
Your Honor, can I ask a question, please?
Yeah.
Okay. So my question is, why was I filed for the 20th of November if you guys were not trying to represent in the court? Because here it says, it says that I'm current up until 30th of November. That's what it says in the initial filing for the non-payment of rent.
In this case?
Yes.
And Your Honor, I can explain she's referring
you mean
to
the pro rata amount on the complaint?
Yeah. So Your Honor, she's looking at the date under 5C, rent is paid through 11/30/2025.
Yeah.
And the way that calculates, Your Honor, is it looks at the total balance due, and if it exceeds however many months of rent, then it dates it back because there are additional amounts owed over and above just the base rent of the $1,500. That being utility charges that are charged and metered based on usage, trash fees. So those additional charges put the balance due over and above what would have been, in this case, presumably the January balance. And in looking at the ledger, Your Honor, we verify if she was paid, in fact, through December at the time the case was filed. And she was, Your Honor. So my client was not seeking anything over and above that, but at the time the case was filed by our office, she did still owe the January charges, late fee, and then the court costs were incurred by my client.
Your Honor, I also have the ledger here, and as that the 16th of January, my balance stays at $282.42, which is the court fee and the late fee that they charged me on the 16th of January. That's what the ledger says here. So how come if it's on the 16th of January, my balance is $282.42, and you are filing in court that my balance is $1,570. $1,570. I also have the ledger here.
Your Honor, I can look at the ledger and say, yeah, that's what it says on January 16th, but on January 14th, the balance was, in fact, $1,856.40.
I paid my rent on the 14th of January.
Do not yell.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
When they file and sign the complaint, what they alleged to the court at the time of the signing was what was owed on the ledger. You're expecting, in both things that you said, you're expecting the number to somehow change between the time that the plaintiff files it and the time that it gets to the court for filing.
Okay, Your Honor.
The only thing that's required is that the amount or the information that's contained in the complaint is true at the time that it's signed by the attorney's office. And in each of the instances that you're bringing up, it's true.
Your Honor, so if that's the case, if they are alleging that it's on the 1st of January, then the balance, so if they're alleging that they filed on the 14th of January, then the balance should be $1,674. That's what my account
If they
says.
file it on the 1st of January.
Yeah, if they filed on the 1st of January, like if they filed before then. So because my balance, my closing balance is $1,500 on the 5th of November, on the 5th of December, right? And on the 1st of January,
Now,
I have.
what do you want to have happen here?
Okay, so what I requested for is that I just want them to give me the receipt dated on the 14th before I paid that it was filed on the 14th.
I mean, before you pay the court costs?
Before I paid the rent, because I paid the rent on the 14th.
You want the receipt on the 14th?
Yes. Like, because I need to get this money reimbursed back to me if I'm to pay. And they say
Money reimbursed back.
okay, so they're saying that okay, sorry, I'm gonna come again, Your Honor. I'm really sorry. So I paid my rent on the 14th of January. And they are telling me that I paid my rent late on the 14th of January. So I'm going to be charged $182 for the court fee. When
you're being charged a court fee because if those things cross in the mail, they cross in the mail. I mean, quite frankly, and I don't say this to people, but you're trying to argue some timing technicality, which doesn't make any sense to me. Because the cold-hearted reality is, had you paid your rent on the 1st of November, or 1st of January, we wouldn't even be here. We wouldn't even be arguing about it.
Yeah, Your Honor, I paid. That's why I paid the late fee. Because I understood the late time.
Right, but you can pay the late fee, but the plaintiff has the right to pursue whatever they can pursue in court and need to protect themselves.
Yes, but according to the contract, they told me that I should pay before the 14th and then the late fee will apply. Yeah, oh no, I pay this from my pocket when I had additional job. But right now, the only fund I have is for my funders. So I do not have additional income to complement this. I'm okay paying all of this. But if my funders tell me we need these papers so that I can get this money from them, that's all of from my fund. I'm a PhD candidate at the University of Michigan, and I get my funds from an international organization that is paying my living allowances and my rent.
And Your Honor, if I may, just to touch on one thing, defendant indicated that they told her to pay before the 14th, which is accurate. If she had paid before the 14th on the 13th, when the demand expired and required payment by, we also wouldn't be here today. The issue is that she paid on the 14th, which is not before the 14th. Your Honor, with respect to this, the judgment that has entered in this case should be sufficient for her to take to her fund and say, the court has ordered me to pay this. This is the funding I need to be reimbursed so I can have the rent cured and my housing housing remain in good standing. I don't know what sort of receipt could otherwise be provided, other than, a judgment that acknowledges what's due and owing in order to satisfy the balance owed to Spice Street.
Because on the judgment, this says I have late rent. So nothing on the judgment says that I'm paying late fee. Because to them, they are saying it's late rent I stated on this judgment. I sent this to them.
Sent to who?
I sent it to the company that funds my research.
Okay, and they won't pay it?
Yeah, they are telling me that they need to see that this was filed on the 14th, because I sent the rental contract to their lawyers, and they're like, okay, you explain to us that if this is late by the 6th day, because the guy called me on the 14th and he told me you need to pay this by card, because if you go pay by money order, it's going to be delayed. So that's on the 14th morning. So on the 14th, I got back from school at around 8 p.m. ish, and I paid it immediately because he said, if I do money order, it's going to spill to the next day, which is going to be 15th. So I went to make sure that I paid it on the 14th, because it called me on the 14th in the morning of 14th.
And Your Honor, the complaint is the date of that. It says January 14th is the date that the case was processed for filing. That's the only receipt that can be provided to her as proof that legal action was pursued because the payment wasn't timely made. That, in conjunction with the judgment, should be sufficient for that. I mean, the judgment in and of itself is an order of the court saying it has to be paid.
That was sufficient, but when excuse me, that was sufficient, Your Honor. But when I requested from Spice Street.
Okay, but hold on a second. The issue here doesn't have anything to do with Spice Street.
He has everything to do with me.
Pardon?
It has to do with me.
I know. So I'm not sure. Spice Street, everything has been done properly. The fact that, and I don't know what to tell you, the fact that they won't reimburse that, because I don't know what math they're doing. But it would seem to me that if they reimburse your housing costs, if you got a ledger and sent it to them, that should tell them.
Yeah, because I told them they said a ledger does not constitute that the case was filed in court. Because I'm having this back and forth with them also.
I hear you, but I don't know what anyone can do for that. Because you have there's the complaint that was filed. And on the 14th, what's stated on that complaint is that balance. Now, there may have been the crossing of the amounts, but I don't know why they won't pay it. But that doesn't seem to be Spice Street's problem, quite frankly, as I'm listening to it. And
Yeah,
to be honest with you, not the courts.
I get it, because I think the problem with them is the fact that they are feeling like the papers I submitted is inconsistent with the information Spice Street is giving me. Because Spice Street told me this case was filed on the 6th, right? That was the email they sent to me.
No, the notice you get a demand to pay on the 6th.
I
If
didn't
you
get.
look at your paperwork,
Yeah, I did. I got a demand to pay on the 6th. So that was why I
it
sent
expires
that
on
to
the
them.
13th, which is why you need to pay before the 14th. And on the 14th, they proceeded with the balance that was due and owing at the time. So why these people won't do something, I don't know. And I can't, I'm not going to order the plaintiff to do something which is not what the plaintiff, they did everything correctly.
Okay, so I'm just going to request from them if they can send me like an email that says like this is the actual amount or something, and like as part of the
Actual amount of
like
what?
of the $282 and the date they filed, if they can give everything to me.
You got a judgment,
Yeah, I sent the
382.
yeah, I sent the judgment to them, and they still said the same thing.
I don't know what you want me to do. They're
Okay.
not under the jurisdiction of this court. That you got a judgment. The judgment says this is what you owe.
Okay, I would proceed with the payment of the judgment.
Pardon?
I would proceed with the payment of the judgment then. Because they are just giving me a lot of it's a back and forth with them.
Okay, but I can't do anything with it. So you're going to, so you filed a motion to set.
She indicates Hawk was not able to help her, but she did have her appointment with DHHS this morning. So if we could get her another adjournment so she could work through that SER process.
See, this would be the second adjournment. Okay. How much do you have owing?
Total, Your Honor, $2,811.50.
Oh, that's before the 800.
Oh, I'm sorry, right, I'm sorry. $1,961.50. She made a payment of $850. She told me in the hallway, so I apologize.
That's exactly what she told me she was gonna do. So you said that's 19.
$61.50.
Okay, and how much is your March rent?
$639 even.
Okay,
So I'm gonna get bumped.
so I'll let you work through the DHS process. How many people are in your house?
It's just me. So everybody has, it's a 3-bedroom, but everybody has to worry about their own rent. So with that
Right.
639, I gotta worry about that 639 on my own.
No, I got you, but, so it's really just you.
Yeah.
So that you know, if you get the maximum award at DHHS, it's only gonna be about $410.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. They call it state emergency relief, but it's not quite that.
Okay. I was also mentioning that I am getting ready to file my taxes. I think I was just waiting on a few more things, fingers crossed. I still am working and I'm about to pick up a second job just so I can help myself with rent.
Okay, well, no, okay, I hear you.
Yeah,
Are you in school?
I am in school. I do school full time, and my current job, I work 35 hours.
What are you gonna be when you grow up?
I'm working, well, on my degree, it's a Bachelor of Science in Family Sciences and Human Development in Youth and Community Development.
Oh, is that 2 degrees or is that one long one?
No, so it's, for some reason, like it's Family Sciences, Human Development is the program, and then Youth and Community Development is my major. So that's that.
Wow.
And then I want to do family policy and that, or family law policy advocacy.
Family law policy advocate?
Yes, sir. Your Honor.
That's cool, not my court, but all right. Okay. All right, young lady, let's see if we can get you through this. You got kind of a plan sketched out for yourself.
Yeah, gotta make a way. God gave me the will, so.
Well, what year are you?
I am a junior currently.
So you already had some tough times getting to that point, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
complete switch. So I was doing 4 years of finance right before I got to my
What?
senior year. I switched. It just wasn't for me anymore. I liked
How
finance.
did you go from finance to that?
I liked what I did outside of my major in my classes. I was at Wayne State as a peer mentor within the School of Business, and I enjoyed being a pure mentor
Yeah.
or going to class most of the time, honestly.
Something in life all of a sudden told you what your niche should be.
Yeah, it was God.
I know. All right. March 13th, 2026 at 3 p.m. All
Okay,
right, young lady.
here,
That's here.
gotcha.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
That's it for you.
I think that's it. Run, have a great weekend. Good to see
You do
you.
the same. Haverhill on Clark versus, how much is owing on this?
I have a balance including court costs of $1,715.52.
1,715.52.
Yes, sir.
All right. You brought it down quite a bit.
I did. I made
Yeah.
a payment yesterday.
So when can you get the rest of this?
I can get the rest of the balance March 27th.
Okay.
Because right now I'm working, last week I only worked 5 hours. So there's always like a gap in my job where we take time off. I would like more time just in case. They already spoke to us and they told us that next week we're gonna start with the 40 hours again. I did start another job.
Okay.
I don't want to say I'm gonna pay it and then I won't pay it.
No, I got it. I got you. So let's do this. By March 13th, how much of the 1715 can you have? You think?
Like 600.
600? And then you think you can pay this amount, this balance, the rest of that off by the 27th
Yes.
of March? All right. And then what are you going to do with March's rent?
I wanted to see if they can give me an extension for that.
Okay. Here's what I'll do, because March's rent isn't in this right now. Okay. So I'm going to do it this way for her. Because she paid she told me, and the reason I'm doing this is the last hearing, she told me she'd have 500 paid. She paid way more than the 500 trying to get this caught up. So I'm going to do a little bit of something for you here. I'm going to enter a judgment for this, for the 1715.52. Okay.
Okay.
That's so that I call it just freezing the number. So I don't have to deal with March.
Okay.
Okay. And with the writ date of the 13th of March, if defendant pays $600 by that 13th of March, then the writ date is extended to the March 27th. You understand what I just did, ma'am?
Yes.
Oh, so I'm giving you time to pay. You just have to pay that 600 by the 13th.
Mhm.
And then you're gonna have to the 27th to get the rest of this paid up.
Okay.
Okay? And that none of this has anything to do with March.
Okay.
Okay? So you're gonna have to talk to them about March, but
Okay.
this will give you a shot at getting yourself caught up.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
Have a good day.
You do the same. She's gonna prepare a judgment.
Alright.
No, it's okay. Evergreen Apartments versus Hadassah Figueroa.
Jillian Engen for plaintiff.
Good afternoon. Your name? All right, where are we on hers?
Including court costs, I have $1,595.62. I do have a note that Ms. Figueroa is been trying to apply to the AHC, Anywhere Housing Commission, AGCP program. But it's my understanding that
There's still some missing documents in there. But I also spoke with Hawk earlier this morning, and I was able to get an appointment for March 16th with them.
So did they send you over to the housing commission or no?
When I,
They're gonna send her over to the housing commission, I think.
yeah,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
sorry, no, when I reached out initially to see what organizations I could contact, I contact both the HEPP HEP organization, and then earlier this morning, I decided to move on with Hawk to see what they could do for me, and they, as of right now, I only have just the appointment for March 16th.
And the housing commission, they want paperwork from you.
Yes, I've provided 2 out of the, I believe, 3 documents that they asked for, including my ID, my last 2 pay stubs. And yeah,
And they'll pay up to 3.
they might be having a hard time getting documents from Susanna.
yes, that is an
From
issue.
who?
Susanna.
That's my mother. She refuses to provide any documentation. So I'm kind of in a predicament. But as far as payment, I don't mean to cut you off, my apologies.
No.
As far as payments that I can make, next Friday I do get paid. I can make as much as possibly $700 to $800 to get that balance down by a little.
By the 6th, do you mean? The next Friday?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. How much is your monthly rent?
1,209.
Your Honor, once March hits, still gonna be under $3,000.
They still will be.
Yep, and so with that, with the payment from Ms. Figueroa, it'll keep it below 3,000.
Okay. Well, is your mother just not giving anything at all?
Well, earlier this morning, when we were on the phone with the representative with Hawk, she did provide information to them. So we were both able to make something work. That's how I got the appointment for March.
Okay.
So
You just have to work on her.
I guess, yeah.
Okay. All right. I got you. I'll adjourn this out March 13, 2026 at 1 p.m. Just make sure to make that payment on the 6th.
Understood. Question, is that in person or?
In person.
In person, okay.
All
Understood.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, versus Ashley Jones.
Hello.
What were you telling that other person? Who's that?
My friend Ashley.
What were you like telling her? Haha, I got coffee.
No.
Oh, no, okay. Didn't like that they were telling secrets. All right. What's her account?
Your Honor, so I have a balance including court costs of 4,913. And then, Your Honor, I did speak with Ashley, and we talked about she's getting her income tax refund next month, and she's been working really hard to get this amount paid down. And so if Your Honor wants to adjourn it.
Okay. I don't know if they received my payment yet from, my job. It was 3503. They did say that I talked to the person who was, because my case has to be confidential, but I talked to the person that was processing it, and she did say that all the signatures were submitted for the payment. So, and I did just pay $627 today. So I have the receipt.
So you pay, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, so let's do this. I'll adjourn this to March 13th, 2026 at 1 p.m.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, take care.
You too. Thank you so much.
Gulfside Lake versus Bonnie Shops.
Hello, Your Honor.
Oh, there he is. And Brandon Shops. All right. How much is owing?
Excuse me. Thank you. I have a balance including court costs of $1,417.55.
Okay. So he made that payment of the 1,500 or thereabouts.
Yes.
1,600. Yeah.
So, sir, when do you think you can get this paid?
I can make a payment on Friday of this coming week for another 500, and then I will have the full balance paid by the 13th.
Gotcha. So you can pay 500 on the 6th and then the balance by the 13th.
Correct.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do. So we lock this figure in. I'm going to deal with March. I'm going to enter a judgment finding no tribal issue after a hearing for the 14/17/55. And I'm going to give you to March 16th to pay that. That's that Monday after the 13th, right?
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. And then you can figure out March.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, not a problem. You always get there, Mr. Josh.
I work on it. It's been a rough couple of years.
Yeah, but you made it. You're here right now, right? So
I keep
good.
trying. I keep trying.
That's it. Okay.
You have a good weekend, sir. Thank you.
You do the same, Phil. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Courthouse case of Gulfside Lakes versus Isaac Smith and Terrius Clayton.
Jillian Engen for plaintiff.
Yep. Mr. Smith, if you're on mute.
Hey, Your Honor, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
All right. Oh, that's right. You play football, he says. Never mind. No, he was telling me that.
I believe him.
No, I didn't believe him. Okay.
I'm not a
I'm
liar.
just messing. What?
I'm not a liar.
I don't know. I don't know what he was doing. That's all right. Anyway, what's the balance?
I have a balance including court costs of $2,030.01.
All right. And I forgot what happened. There's somebody that pays that for you, right?
Yes, sir. Eastern Michigan. And I just received, we get paid usually like the last Thursday of the month. So it comes in different times depending on the bank. So I just received the funds to pay the remaining balance, and I will have that paid before I will have that and March rent paid by the beginning of next week. Really was the first.
So you'll pay. You're going to pay that and March.
Yes, sir. And the balance will be zero. It will be zero before March 3rd for sure. I just got to wait for the money to transfer over. It doesn't go directly.
I'm fine.
You told me you're a receiver, right?
Yes, sir.
See, when I played football, I was on defense. We never trusted a receiver ever, ever. We never trusted them because we always say if they weren't receivers, they'd be safeties or quarterbacks, and that's who we trust. We don't trust receivers. Anyway, here's what I'm going to do, young man. I'm going to trust you. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjourn it out to the 13th of 2026 at 1 p.m. So if you have everything paid by the, if you get it all paid by the 6th, I don't need to see you on that.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Your Honor.
Not a problem. You take care, young man, and in this upcoming season, good luck to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
What's your number?
14.
14? Okay. So that's the number I need to look for?
Yes, sir. That's the number you need to remember.
Okay. Is that so when I'm looking for that number, am I looking on the sideline or on the field? No,
you
don't, never mind. Don't answer. Don't
you
answer.
gotta come see.
I'll find it. All right.
Depends on if they're on offense or defense.
Yeah. All right. You take care. And really, seriously, good luck to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Gulfside Lakes versus Alicia Sarr.
Being it for plaintiff.
Where is she? Okay, she's here. In Zoom.
Hello.
Sarr, hello.
I'm sorry, I was running late to the court. I tried to contact the county clerk and they said they couldn't get a hold of you.
Okay. All right.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Okay, she's here. And where is she on?
I have a balance including court costs of $1,115.93.
All right, so she made that payment of what, 4, if not more.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, Ms. Sarr, when are you gonna get that?
Yes.
Are you driving?
Yes, I was for work.
Okay, I need you to pull over. I
I'm
can't
sorry.
have you driving.
Okay.
All right, I'll call you right back up. Pull over safely and then we'll call you, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Court calls the case of Gulfside Lakes versus LaTanya Pugh Powell. Oh, there she is.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello. Your name? All right, where are we on her case?
Your Honor, it's my understanding.
This is her motion to set aside.
Yes, and I think that I have some notes that say there might be something with Hawk, but my client, I don't think that I don't know what they've received. They have a question mark.
Okay, go ahead. What do you?
Okay, so you set me up with Amy on my last hearing, and I had called Hawk and they had told me I'm not eligible. I make too much.
Okay.
But Amy, she had told me that I was eligible. Just knock the balance down a little, half the balance down. But I had called Hawk and they said they can't help me because I make too much.
Amy?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold on. Do you remember talking with Miss Pugh Powell? I think that was last week, wasn't it? Or, yeah, on the 20th.
Yes,
And-
do you remember?
Okay. And she said that, I guess you probably told her she might be eligible or would be eligible, but that they called and said she's not, so.
It looks like there was an income issue with one of the programs, and her amount would have been too much for the other one. So there were a couple possibilities. Appears if she was able to meet the income range for the other program, not income range, but the amount that needs to be knocked down to 2,000. So yeah. So there's the MAP program and then there's the prevention program. And the MAP program has greater capacity for income. However, it can only help with up to 2,000.
Right. So they told me if I bring it to down about 18,000, that they.
Like what? 18,000.
I mean, I'm sorry, 1,800. I'm sorry.
I was gonna
My
say, you
mind
got
is
18,000, we don't need to be here.
1,800. And then that'll make it 2,000, but still I make too much. So that's where I'm stuck.
Well, you make too much for that program?
For Hawk.
Well, for Hawk, you'd have to bring it down to 3,000.
Oh, well.
But there's another program that has a higher income threshold but you'd have to bring it down to 2,000.
Yeah, and the person I spoke with from Hawk had mentioned the other thing, but I asked for the information. She told me she couldn't give it to me.
She what?
She couldn't give it to me. I think it was called MAPS or something like that.
Okay.
But she told me she couldn't give me the information.
And you didn't get the information?
No.
Okay. All right. How much is your monthly rent?
$1,200.
Yeah, Your Honor, I think it's gonna be somewhere around $5,063.90 next month. There's still almost 3,000 on the judgment, still
Yeah,
not obviously February.
so. Are you working now? You?
Yes, I'm
obviously
working,
are.
yes.
Okay, so. This is a problem. And I get why they have the limitation, but you're a perfect example. Somebody just caught in the middle. You
Yeah.
just need to make it over the hump, but they can't help you do that because you make.
So I could have paid the 1,800, but if it's not guaranteed that I'll get help, then it's just like, you
Okay,
know.
hold on. When can you pay the 1,800, do you think?
Today.
You can pay the 1,800?
Yeah, my
today?
sister was gonna help me out.
And then your rent is 12, right? So effectively, you'd be bringing the balance down about 6. So you'd be at 30. All right.
So if I paid the 18 and then like a resource helped me, I would be able to pay my March balance. But
Hold on a second. But no, I got you. If you paid the 18 and you qualified for the 2, then you'd be done.
yeah, I'll be done.
Right. I don't know if that's going to necessarily work for you.
Right.
Okay, so let's do it this way. Get the 1,800 paid to that Monday the 2nd.
Okay.
All right. I'll tell you what I'm doing so that I'm going to carry your case over into March, but it's going to be because I think you're in. I don't want to say this.
The frustration builds as the defendant insists none of it makes sense. I sent the $382. I sent them the judgment. They're still saying the same thing. The judge responds firmly, "You already have a judgment. The judgment states exactly what is owed. That's the legal order." When the defendant argues the other party isn't under the jurisdiction of this court, the judge pushes back. Jurisdiction isn't the issue. The judgment is. The remedy is simple. Comply with the judgment. Pay what the court ordered. That's how enforcement works. Then the judge addresses what he sees happening. This isn't about confusion anymore. It sounds like an attempt to argue a technical timing issue, and the court isn't there to debate semantics when there's already a ruling in place. The underlying message is clear. Once a judgment is entered, the next step isn't argument. It's compliance. So here's the question. When a court issues a judgment, should technical loopholes matter or just payment? Like and share if court orders should be followed as written.